Looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine.
Welcome to the Poole Locke YouTube channel. I'm James Locke. Today we're going to answer some of the Ask James questions of the day. And our first question is from Frank. He asked, my advisor keeps saying that my wife and I will have plenty of income whenever we retire in the next few years, but how can I be sure he's telling me the truth? All right, Frank, that's a great question, and honestly, it's one I hear all the time. A lot of advisors rely on an outdated method like the 4% rule. You have $2 million, take $80,000 a year forever, you'll be fine. But here's the danger with that approach. You don't know if you're living off a renewable income, interest and dividends, or if you're withdrawing principal and hoping it grows back. And there's a massive difference between these two approaches. Renewable income means your principal stays intact. You're harvesting interest and dividends the same way you'd harvest fruit from a tree. The tree stays healthy and it keeps producing year after year. But if you're withdrawing principal, you're cutting down the tree a little bit each year and hoping it grows back before you need to cut it down again. Now that works great when markets go up 20%. But what happens when markets go down 20%? Now you're still taking out $80,000, but it represents a much larger percentage of your shrinking portfolio. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's one of the biggest dangers retirees face. So how do you know for sure? Well, look at your statement, right? Many brokerage account statements will show a column that says yield, or it might say income. So if you have $1 million, and the yield is 2.5%, that's $25,000 in true income. So real interest and dividends, but that your investments generated. But here's something most people don't realize. If you're paying a 1% advisor fee, you only net 1.5%. That's $15,000 of real income, not $25,000. That 1% fee comes right off the top of your income generating capacity. If your statement doesn't show yield, ask your advisor directly, what's the annual interest and dividend income my portfolio is generating? Not what's my total return, not what's the projected withdrawal rate, but specifically how much income in dollars is this portfolio producing from interest and dividends. Now, if you have a 401k, they never show income because they're not designed for distribution, they're designed for accumulation. You'll need to look up the yields of the underlying funds yourself, or ask your HR department or 401k administrator for help understanding the income generating potential of your holdings. Now, for an income first strategy focused on principal protection, you should be able to generate 5, 6, 7% before any fees, 4, 5, 6%, let's say, after fees. That's renewable income, real interest and dividends that don't require you to touch your principal. Now, if you're nowhere near that, you're probably not working with an income specialist. You're probably working with someone who manages portfolios the same way for everyone, whether they're 30 or whether they're 70. Now, here's the bottom line. Your advisor might be a great person with the best intentions, but if they can't tell you exactly how much income your portfolio generates from interest and dividends, and if that income isn't in the 4 to 6% range after fees, then you need to have a serious conversation about whether your portfolio is truly positioned for retirement. That's a great question and a tough question. If you'd like to send in your question, love to have it. You can do so. Email that question to poollocke@poollocke.com. Moving right along, we will get to our second question, and this question is from Alice. That's a great name. I love that name. That's the name of my mother. So Alice, she says, I'm a bit behind on saving for retirement. I want to retire in less than 5 years, but I haven't made the transition to income first yet because I'm so behind. All right, Alice, I'd love more specifics, but here's the general rule and some guidelines that might help. If you're a little behind, you can use high dividend stocks as part of your income strategy. They haven't performed great in the last, say, 2.5 years because tech has dominated. But when interest rates fall, dividend-oriented stocks often rotate back into favor. Money flows to where it's treated best, and when bonds and money markets yield less, investors start looking at dividend-paying stocks more favorably. High-quality dividend stocks, companies with long histories of paying and increasing dividends, can provide both income and some potential for growth. So we're talking about established companies in sectors like utilities, consumer staples, healthcare, telecommunications, real estate investment trusts. That's if you're behind a little. What if you're behind a lot? Well, you may have to stay in capital appreciation longer, but that comes with risk, especially as you get closer to retirement age. Being behind doesn't mean you should give up on the income first approach entirely. It means you might need a hybrid strategy that balances your need for continued growth with the reality that you're running out of time to recover from a major market downturn. So if you're about 75% of the way to your target number, an income transition strategy with high dividend stocks can help you. You can have your cake and eat it too. Partial income, partial capital appreciation. Now, this approach gives you some of the downside protection that comes with all income-focused investing, while still allowing participation in market appreciation through dividend-paying equities that have growth potential. But I'd really need to know how far behind you actually are. Is it 10%, 30%, 50%? How much time do you have left? 5 years? That's very different than, say, 2 years. What your income target actually is. What kind of lifestyle are you trying to fund? What your risk tolerance is. Can you handle volatility, or do you need stability? And whether you have other income sources, Social Security, pension, rental income. All of these factors determine the right strategy for you. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, especially for someone who's behind on their retirement savings goals. Now, here's what I can tell you. Making no decision, staying paralyzed because you are behind, well, that's really the worst option of all, right? So you'll want someone who can look at all your numbers, understand your goals, and create a realistic plan that balances your need for growth with the reality that you can't afford to gamble everything right before retirement. Remember, being behind doesn't mean you can't retire successfully. It just means you need a more tailored, more careful approach that makes every dollar work as hard as possible for you. 2 great questions today. If you would like to send in your question, hey, you can do so. You can email that question to Locke@PooleLock.com. And if you like what you heard today, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. I'm James Locke, your retirement income source. I'll see everyone next time.
Money on my mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine. Retirement is near, don't you live in fear. Listen up, my friend.